Today, we learn about the club's 300 million summer plans to save next season. Today, my friends, I'm here to discuss financial news surrounding potential new sponsors, player exits, sales, plus some crazy transfer stories as well too. So my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Share your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I have already released another news video today because we have so many stories to tackle and break down. So my friends, sit back, relax, hope you enjoy, and getting straight into things. Let's start things off and let's discuss what exactly is going on with this potential sponsorship deal with Air Jordan for next season. After their very successful collaboration with Paris Saint-Germain, now they want to target every major European city, and London is now next on their agenda. Right now, they are hoping to preferably work alongside a London club to further expand in the sports market, and their number one choice to work with would be us. And that's based on having great relationships and ties with many figures at CLEAROUT Capital. Back in January, when this news first came out, there were discussions over a potential 60 million a year deal with Air Jordan, and it makes you think to yourself, in a perfect world, could we have Riyadh Air and Air Jordan together as sponsors for next season? If we did, we're bringing in untold riches. These are incredible brands to work with. However, as this season continues to spiral somewhere that we don't really know where it's going right now, naturally, this is stalling the deal. Now, for us to potentially earn 60 million a year from this deal, we'd have to get Champions League football. We aren't doing that right now. But if we want to continue the conversations with Air Jordan, we need to guarantee some kind of European football for next season. The Jordan brand are hoping to make sure that the third or fourth kits have the Air Jordan logo on, and if we aren't in Europe to further expose and promote the brand, then, financially it just doesn't make any sense. Now, it's come out that since our disappointing cup final defeat against Liverpool, talks now have stalled until the end of the season, and that's because there's no point discussing anything unless we have guarantee that we can get European football. So currently there's big pressure on Pochettino and the squad, and there's even bigger pressure on us right now to do as best as we can, aka win the FA Cup. We need to win the FA Cup to get European football. It really is that simple now. It's come out since that after that cup final defeat against Liverpool, that final defeat really affected our image. And, I've said this time and time again, listen, as fans, we can understand the inner context behind that loss against Liverpool. Our squad on average is younger than Liverpool's. Klopp's had more years to work with them, etc., etc. But outside of the fan base, in terms of how others will perceive and view that, it was seen as a massive failure on our hands that after all the money we've invested, we can't be an inexperienced and youthful Liverpool team. And it's come out that that final defeat has affected our image. Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy one, but of course, after all the investment that we've made, we need to start generating money now. And in terms of the sponsor deals that we're looking to get, we've really failed in that aspect so far, but there is hope for next season. But to get great deals, you need to have success on the field. So that's the first story out the way. Let's now discuss the club's plans to generate money for next season. Now, there was a great article that came out from Give Me Sport, and I felt like it went into great detail, offered great insight and great context behind what exactly is going down. But, to start with things, all this talk about us being desperate to have to raise funds before the 30th of June, they seem a bit premature, and it seems like the club are feeling a lot more relaxed and confident about their financial position at this point in time, and I think that's good for us fans to hear that. Now, as we know, we have recorded pre-tax losses of £90.1 million from the 30th of June 2023. Naturally, people are going to question whether can we comply with profit and sustainability rules in the Premier League after spending so much money and not really finding that success on or off the field. Now, we have submitted all of the last 3 years of our finances to the Premier League, and as we know, we've been very proactive when it comes to initiating these conversations, really just be as transparent as possible behind what is going on with our finances. Now, for clubs like Forest and Everton, which pay the price, they weren't in discussions, they weren't in communication, and that's why they got hit hard. So we've definitely avoided something like that. We have to remember that with the new Premier League rules, it means that you can record up to 105 million in losses over a 3-year period. And we insist that we are far within that current threshold. Now, obviously, not being able to generate more money from sponsor deals, not having European football either, that's definitely going to hurt us. So it does seem like realistically, our best strategy is going to be about selling players to raise funds. And the positive is we have a lot of players that we can sell, and there's a lot of high earning wage players that can get sold to reduce our wage bill. Now, since last summer, we've actually reduced our wage bill by 70,000 a week, which is like a saving of like 3.6 million for the year. It seems like this is the main reason as to why we didn't sign anyone in January, because we've known for a while that there's like a full transfer window plan to rebuild this club properly. We're still signing coaches within the setup to improve the structures. We haven't completed finalizing the first team yet. As I keep stressing, player sales are key, because for myself, it basically communicates that we don't know how much money or budget we have to play with in the summer unless we sell players first. The more we can sell early before the Euro starts, which delays a lot of things, and can mean that maybe you aren't getting the prices you want for players as you're getting closer and closer to the end of the window. That could affect who our main targets could be in the window. This could explain why maybe we are still looking at alternatives to Victor Osimhen, even though it does seem like we have a bit of an informal agreement now with the player to sign for us for next season. But if the finances aren't there, can we commit to a transfer of that magnitude? That's what we don't know about. But if we break down the players that are available to be sold, you're looking at Lukaku, and he has a release clause of £37 million, which helps. Lewis Hall's clause will be activated by Newcastle, and we're set to earn around £28 million. But outside of that, of course, you can get pure profit from selling Cobham guys like Conor Gallagher, Armando Broja and Trevor Chalobah. It seems like we are open to selling high earning wage players in your Cucureas, Raheem Sterling's and potentially others, and we still have players like Hakim Ziyech and players like Malang Sarr that needs to be sold as well, that can help reduce our wage bills. So when you consider everything that can be done, we have a lot of money we can make. But for myself, it comes down to how soon and how quick can we sell these players, because last summer it was difficult. We weren't able to sell all the players we wanted to, and that affected what we could do in that window. So it does seem like there's set to be a ton of work on all sides, from selling players, buying players and loaning players. And I think this explains why we are still continuing to hire more staff to really just specialize and focus all these important areas within the club. But if you add up the potential sale values of all these players, you're hoping that it could generate nearly 300 million. So let's hope that if we're able to pull this off, that we invest wisely. I guess for myself, if we didn't commit to also looking to create this club network model where we've signed a lot of guys like Andre Santos, your Washingtons, there's 2 players there. You spent nearly 40 million plus on both. They've not done anything in the first team for us. You added more by signing Leslie Ogochukwu, plus many others, and it just felt like maybe those funds would have been redirected back into the first team. And once the first team has been able to grow and show their worth and value on the field, then maybe you focus on tackling the network model. Because I don't know, I feel like we've done too much all at once, and this is where you have to pay the price, and this is where consequences come. And listen, we don't have Cobham players that will generate big fees forever. Every season, that pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So it does really feel like this is the summer window where we are going to spend big, but we have to do everything right now, because this could be the final time we could really have this flexibility in terms of what we do. So that's the finance news out of the way, my friends. Share your thoughts and opinions. Another story I want to discuss is the Daily Mail's report surrounding Jamal Musiala. They report that we could be set to earn 20% of Musiala's fee if he gets sold this summer. Now, he does have 2 years left on his existing deal, and currently there aren't any negotiations planned to extend his contract with Bayern Munich. Jamal's saying wait until the summer, but Bayern Munich aren't stupid. If they wait till the summer, and it does seem like Musiala might be open now to exploring different competitions in different leagues, because come on, he's kind of completed life in the Bundesliga. It's not looking great for Bayern though, because it has been rumoured already that Musiala turned down contract extension talks, I think at the end of last year. So whenever a player has 2 years left in their existing deal, you're normally communicating to the market, listen, give me some offers, because I am open to actually signing for someone else. Now, sadly, I have to say, from what I'm hearing, Man City and Liverpool are the current favourites for Musiala. At the start of the season, at the end of the summer, there was talks that Musiala was definitely interested in potentially returning back to London. But without Champions League football, and maybe without European football too, do we now become the best career move for a player like Musiala that has Ballon d'Or potential? Now, another thing I'm hearing is that now that Michael Edwards is like the CEO now at Liverpool and he has full control, he sees Musiala as his grand statement signing for Liverpool for this summer. So, it's a bit worrying. I'm going to keep crossing my fingers that we can pull something out the bag, because with this 20% clause that is in Musiala's deal, it does mean that if we were to make a move for him, we essentially get a 20% discount when it comes to signing him. So, to not get European football, it's a massive loss, because there was a big opportunity for us to sign Musiala this summer. Now, I'm going to give you guys some more context behind how Musiala actually left the club. I was given some info by some trusted sources and contacts, and I was basically told, listen, at the time when he was at our club, we offered Musiala a very sizable deal, and it was the largest one actually, and there were assurances of an even bigger deal once he turned 17, and obviously he got that pro deal. But he turned this offer down at 15 years old. Of course, we really hoped that at the time he'd at least sign a scholarship deal with us, but he turned it down because he was ready to sign for Bayern Munich. So this meant that Bayern had free range to sign Musiala, and because of signing him on a pre-contract agreement, it meant that we automatically received 200,000 as a compensation fee, but there's a mandatory 20% sell-on clause attached to his exit. So, if we don't sign Musiala and he does sign for someone big, we're going to earn a lot of money from him, which can really help us in our situation right now. But, it's a shame that all of this happened before Frank Lampard became the manager that season. In a different alternate universe, what if Lampard was hired a bit sooner? If he was able to talk to Musiala and persuade him to remain, that came at the time and Cobham players were finally getting opportunities. But what I was told was that essentially in the end, the reason why Bayern Munich were able to sign Musiala was because they actually offered more money than this lucrative deal that we offered to Musiala. Like, it was substantially bigger. And listen, we can't forget that they had big money to spend on Hudson-Odoi. When they see talent, they're not afraid to invest in that. And that's essentially why we lost out on keeping Musiala at our football club. I'm going to pray and hope that this season ends positively for us, because, I've got these grand hypothetical visions of, imagine if you're announcing Musiala and then you got the Air Jordan brand, and that it's just like the synergy behind a group like this and what it can do for the club. There's just untold potential behind that. But sadly, reality doesn't actually play out like hypotheticals do. So that's the Musiala news out the way, and let's now end things in Bayern Munich again, and we discuss these Alonso Davis reports that came out. Now, in terms of the story, there really isn't too much to discuss, because the Secret Scout were the ones to confirm the fact that we have strong interest in Alonso Davis, pretty strong interest actually, but they actually revealed this in a comment under a Romano tweet. Now, Secret Scout have incredible ties in the industry. I mean, if you guys follow them on Twitter, you know this for yourself, right? So if they're saying something like that, they're definitely hearing something. But obviously, being a Chelsea fan and seeing how the season's going, there's a reality and acceptance that we all just have right now. And I think to myself immediately, if you're going to sign Alonso Davis, you're offering this guy incredible wages, and then you have to offer incredible money to Bayern Munich just to sign him to begin with. As we know, Davies is now ready to leave Bayern Munich. Now, Bayern have done everything in their power to try and keep him. At the time, it was reported that Davies wanted around 20 million euros a year to remain at Bayern, and the highest Bayern were willing to go up to was 13 to 14 million euros. Now, Christoph Freund, the Bayern sporting director, is still holding out that he can potentially persuade Davies to remain there. But as we know from, I think, a few weeks back, Real Madrid have reached a verbal agreement with Alonso Davis. And the agreement is that he'll sign for them in 2024 or for next season. And if he was to not sign this season, but signs for them in 2025, essentially he'd be leaving on a free. And this would be the third time in a row in which a player from Bayern has left on a free to go to Real Madrid. It was Toni Kroos, it was David Alaba, and I don't think Bayern Munich want to be in that position again. But the thing that's stalling the deal is the asking price. Real Madrid are happy to go up to 50 million euros max, but Bayern want between 70 to 80 million. They definitely want money over 60 million, but they're holding out for between 70 to 80 million euros. And for Real Madrid, they think this makes no financial sense because he has 1 year left in his deal. So it's going to be one of those types of tense games. But the fact that Madrid have the verbal agreement that Davies will sign for them this summer or in 2025 means that Bayern don't have much negotiation power. And can they afford to turn down guaranteed money for a player that is definitely leaving them regardless? You know, with Bayern Munich, the fact that they are the most dominant force in their league means that all their stars will have a shelf life with them, because after a while, what is the satisfaction in lifting your 6th or 7th Bundesliga title? It doesn't make any sense. So listen, if we want to go in there right now, there is a window of opportunity because Madrid have not agreed a fee with Bayern Munich. That's the only thing that gives us hope. But then if you're coming in there, he needs to come in with guarantees. The fact that we have no Champions League football, I feel like this is the biggest fumble ever, because it's really ruined a lot of the potential business we could have actually done for this summer. The only way you're signing him, and again, not even as a guarantee, but your only hope to even try to attract him is if you're offering stupid wages. And if you're telling Bayern Munich, listen, we'll give you 75, 80 straight. I don't think that will happen because Davies wants to join Real Madrid for sporting reasons. Now, Madrid are actually offering him less wages compared to Bayern Munich. You know, of course, Davies' agent is like, listen, if you want us to really stay here, you have to offer impossible money because my client wants to leave. And I understand why Davies wants to go to Real Madrid. I mean, they've just announced that Mbappe will be going there. They have some of the best stars in world football. You know, when squads like this get built, this is like a once in a decade thing, and he could be part of a newfound history at Real Madrid. And I feel like in terms of the sporting stories and the history and the heritage, could any serious player turn down Real Madrid right now? I'm not too sure. So it's nice that we still have strong ambitions, but I feel like reality is going to kick us in the face this summer. And, you know, the fact that we're looking at guys like Milos Kerkez and Bournemouth, I feel like maybe that's a more realistic target for us because sadly we aren't on that level now to be targeting those proper superstars. So my friends, they're only my thoughts and opinions. These are today's stories. Share your thoughts and opinions. And of course, don't forget to like the video too. I'm NiniFC, this is BOEHLY TV. See you guys later with some more videos. Cool.